Sometimes when you have a multiplication problem, you will not really be asked to work it out to find the answer. You will be asked to predict what the answer will be before you actually work out the problem. And they really don't want you to predict the exact answer. They just want you to predict, will it be larger than the fraction you have, smaller than the fraction you have, or equal to the fraction you have. So you will definitely need your notebook and pencils ready. You will take several notes today. Make sure you put these in your notebook and make sure you write them very, very neatly so that you can look back at these. If you will remember these, and the only way you can remember these is if you use them. Memorize them and then use them. The more you use these rules, the more they will stick with you and help you. Okay? After we go over these rules, we will work some examples so that you'll have an idea about what I'm talking about. But let's do the notes first, and then we'll do the examples. The first one, if you multiply a fraction times a fraction, your fraction always gets smaller. So if you're multiplying a fraction by a fraction, a regular O proper fraction times a regular O proper fraction, your fraction or your answer will always get smaller. What you end up with will be smaller than both of the fractions you start with, because you are really just taking a piece of a piece. You're taking a piece of a piece. So if I have 4/7, and I'm going to use 4/7 in every example that I work just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. If I have 4/7 and I want to times it by 1/2, what you're really doing is you're getting 4/7 of a half. You don't have a whole, you just have a half. So think about it, if you tore a sheet of paper in half and you want to get 4/7 of that piece of paper. So you're getting 4/7 of the half. Or you could say it backwards and say I want half of 4/7. Either way, if you're getting a piece of a piece, your answer has got to get smaller. So the piece you end up with will get smaller. So when you look at 4/7 times 1/2, the first thing you should think is, oh, I'm getting a piece of a piece. I'm getting a fraction of a fraction. So my answer must get smaller. Sometimes that's all a question will ask you. Is your answer going to be larger? Is your answer going to be equal to? Or is it going to be smaller? And you would just simply say, my answer will be smaller. Let me demonstrate. If I have 4/7, so let's draw us a rectangle. Split that rectangle with 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to give me 7 pieces. I'm going to color in 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have demonstrated 4/7. Okay, this is 4/7. So I want 4/7 of a half. I want 4/7 of a half, or I want half of 4/7. I thought it would be easier to find a half, so I went ahead and illustrated 4/7. So now we want to get a half of 4/7. So here's our 4/7, and we want half of it. Well, if I have 2 shaded in, or 4 shaded in, and I want half of 4, I'm going to get 2 of these. So I'm going to get half of my 4/7. So did the piece I get end up getting smaller or larger? Well, it's smaller, because to start with, we got 4 pieces. But then when I took half of my 4/7, we only ended up with 2 pieces. So if you get a fraction of a fraction, your answer will always be smaller. All right, make sure you wrote that down. If you didn't have time to finish writing, pause the video and then move on to number 2. Number 2, if you multiply a fraction times an improper fraction, the answer is going to be larger. It will always get larger, because if you multiply a fraction times an improper fraction, you must always get a larger answer. Now, one way you can look at this is you have an improper fraction, so your numerator is going to be larger. The large number's on top. That's a hint to you that you're going to get a larger answer. So if your numerator is larger, your answer is going to be larger. If your numerator is smaller, your answer is going to be smaller. But if your numerator is larger, you're going to have a larger answer, because we all know that an improper fraction is actually a mixed number. So if I have 4/7 times 5/4, I'm really saying I want 4/7 of 5/4. So I'm going to take away a piece of 5/4. Okay, 5/4 is going to actually be 1 1/4 because it's going to be a mixed number. But because I have an improper fraction, my numerator is larger, so my answer is going to be larger. So 4/7 of 5/4. Now, it's going to be larger than your fraction. So when I'm looking at it, my fraction is actually 4/7 because 5/4 is my improper fraction. So when we say that our answer is going to be larger, it's not going to be larger than 5/4. It's going to be larger than 4/7 because 5/4 is going to get smaller because we're taking a piece of it, but we're focusing on 4/7 because that's the consistent fraction we're going to use in all of our examples, and it's actually going to be larger. So your answer will be larger than 4/7 but smaller than 5/4 because you're taking a piece of 5/4. So 5/4 is going to get smaller. Sorry, my clock is chiming. Let it finish. So when you multiply a fraction times an improper fraction, your answer is always going to get larger than your fraction, but your improper fraction will always get smaller. All right, number 3. This is really just a continuation of the one we just did. I'm just writing it differently. If you multiply a fraction times a mixed number, your answer will always be larger than the fraction. Okay, 4/7 is my consistent fraction. 4/7 times 1 1/4. Well, you can easily see that 1 1/4 is a mixed number. That means you have a whole number and you have a fraction. A whole number and a fraction. Okay, 4/7 is going to, the answer is going to be larger than 4/7 because we're multiplying it by a larger number. We're multiplying it by a whole number because you know if you multiply 4/7 times 1 1/4, it's going to be bigger than 1 1/4, or it's going to be bigger than 4/7. So remember, if you're multiplying a fraction times a mixed number, your answer is going to be larger than your fraction. Your fraction is actually 4/7, so your answer will be bigger than 4/7, but also at the same time, remember, you're getting 4/7 of 1 1/4. 4/7 of 1 1/4. So your answer will be bigger than 4/7, but it's going to be smaller than 1 1/4 because you're getting a piece of it. You're taking 4/7 of 1 1/4. Make sure you write that down. If you're not finished writing, pause the video and then continue to number 4. Number 4. If you multiply a fraction times a whole number, your answer will always be smaller than the whole number but bigger than the fraction. So if your fraction is 4/7, which is the fraction that we've been consistent of, we want 4/7 of 5. You want 4/7 of 5. So if you have 5 wholes, you want 4/7 of those 5 because you don't have a fraction over here. 5 is a whole number, so you have 5 whole pieces of gum, but you want 4/7 of those pieces of gum. So the gum amount that you have is definitely going to get smaller, so you will no longer have 5 because if you get 4/7 of the 5 pieces, 5 has got to get smaller, but your answer will still be larger than 4/7 because you want 4/7 5 times. So not only will you have 4/7 once, you're going to have it 5 separate times. So Anytime you're multiplying by a whole number, remember, your answer will be bigger than your fraction, but your whole number is going to get smaller. Now let's solve our examples. Remember what I said? The purpose of this lesson today is really not to work out the problems and solve them, but it's actually for you to be able to just look at the question itself and make that prediction. Will it get larger? Will it get smaller? So let's go based on the notes that you just took, and let's do some examples and see if we can predict and see if we're correct or incorrect. So 4/7 times 1/2, we're sticking with 4/7. And so I want to know if I'm multiplying by a fraction. So think of it like this, a fraction by a fraction. Remember what I said, you're getting a piece of a piece. So my answer is going to get smaller because I'm getting a piece of a piece. So it's going to be smaller than 4/7. It's going to be smaller than 1/2 because we're getting a piece of a piece. So answer will be smaller, but let's go ahead and check it just in case I forgot that. All you have to do is work it out. 4 times 1 is 4, 7 times 2 is 14. I simplify and get 2/7. Now remember, we're comparing it to 4/7. So if you have 4 out of 7 and you have 2 out of 7, well, you know 2 out of 7 is smaller than 4 out of 7. So yes, the answer is smaller, so we were correct by our prediction. Let's say, though, we forgot we had a common denominator and we want to check. Well, we started with 4/7, so we've got our 4/7. And our answer was 2/7. I want to know, is my answer going to be smaller or larger? So anytime that you compare two fractions, all you have to do is crisscross multiply. So 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 is smaller than 28, so 2/7 is smaller than 4/7. So again, we were correct. Our answer is smaller than the fractions. All right, let's go to the next type. If we multiply a fraction, which was 4/7 is our consistent fraction here, times an improper fraction. Well, remember what I said to you. If you have an improper fraction, the numerator is larger, so your answer's got to get larger. Okay, your answer is going to be larger than the fraction you started with. So you started with 4/7. Your answer is going to be larger than 4/7 because you have a large number on top. Your numerator is larger than your denominator, so your answer is going to be larger because technically 5/4 is a whole number, and anytime you multiply times a whole number, your answer is going to get bigger than your fraction you started with. So let's check it to make sure. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 4 is 28. I simplify by dividing both by 4 and get 5/7. So we started with 4/7. Our answer is 5/7. We predicted that our answer would be larger, and 5/7 is larger than 4/7. So we were correct. But let's say we didn't realize that we had a common denominator, so let's crisscross. We're going to crisscross multiply our answer times the fraction we started with. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 is larger than 28, so 5/7 is larger than 4/7. So 4 out of 7 is smaller than 5 out of 7, so 5/7 is larger. So we were correct. Let's try it again. Our consistent fraction that we keep coming back to is 4/7. We want to predict if I'm multiplying times a mixed number. Your answer is going to get bigger because you're multiplying times a whole number and a fraction, so your answer's got to get bigger. So 4/7 will get bigger, but the answer will be smaller than 1 1/4 because remember, you are taking 4/7 of 1 1/4. So you're taking a piece away of 1 1/4, but 4/7 will get larger. So let's check and see. 4/7 times 1 1/4. Remember right here, you cannot multiply by a mixed number until you make it an improper fraction. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So you really get 4/7 times 5 over 4. Did anybody notice what just happened? That's the one we really just worked. So 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 4 is 28. that's going to equal 10 over 14. If I divide by 2 again, I get 5/7. So we're right back where we were a while ago. I started out with 4/7. My answer is 5/7. 5 out of 7 is larger than 4 out of 7. So our prediction was correct. Our answer did get larger than the fraction we started with, but it is smaller than 1 1/4 because 5 out of 7 is not a whole, and 1 1/4 is a whole and 1/4 of another. You could also crisscross multiply to double check yourself there. All right, last one more, just showing you some examples here. 4/7 times 5. Remember, there's our consistent fraction, 4/7. We're multiplying a fraction times a whole number. So you're wanting to take 4/7 of 5. So you're going to take 4/7 of 5. 5 will get smaller, but that fraction will have to get larger. Okay? Remember, if you multiply a fraction times a whole number, you must put that whole number over 1. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 1 is 7, equals 2 6/7. So if you have 4/7 and your answer is 2 6/7, well, everybody knows that 2 wholes and 6/7 of another is more than 4/7 because 4/7 is not quite a whole. So remember, pretty much to sum up this whole lesson, if you can remember 2 things. If you're multiplying a fraction times a fraction, your answer always gets smaller than your fractions. But if you're multiplying a fraction times anything else, your answer will always be bigger than the fraction you started with, unless it's the same thing. So let me add this one thing right here. If I wanted to multiply 4/7 times 5/5, okay, 4/7 times 5/5, that would be, that's not an improper fraction, it's a proper fraction because the numerator is not bigger than the denominator. So all of you probably know this, but just in case you didn't, anytime that you have the same number over the same number, the numerator and denominator are the same, it's actually a whole. So 4/7 times 1 would be 4/7 because anything times itself or anything times 1 is itself. But let's check. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 5 is 35. I noticed very quickly that 1 ends with a 0 and 1 with a 5, so they're divisible by 5. I'm going to get 4/7 if I divide both by 5. So I started with 4/7. My answer is 4/7, so these would be equal. So in this case, if you multiply by 1, or if you multiply with the denominator and numerator the same, your answer will be equal to. So your answer with these, you're either going to predict, will they be smaller, will it be larger, will it be equal to. So if you're multiplying by anything other than 1 and a fraction, it's always going to be larger than the fraction itself. Make sure you think about these notes as we start doing the next few questions. I know that it took a while to go through these notes today, but they're really beneficial. Try hard to memorize these and learn to apply them to your questions.